Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. We're here on Monday night before the big one. It's Nottingham Forest versus Burnley.
The big
But
one.
first up, it's an hour of me and Dean. And yeah, Dean, it's not one really to whet the appetite, but Matt Turner's going to get a penalty save, an assist, 3 bonus points, tons of saves, and a clean sheet, isn't he?
I hope so, mate. I hope so. It's been a weird old week. Some really low scores around town at the moment. The average is 40. I got 40. Well, 46 actually. I got Gusto to come in. But yeah, I could really do with Turner picking up some points tonight. So that'd be handy. But just a shambles of a game week, really. I mean, obviously went for the Son captaincy. Didn't kill me, but not ideal. 4 points as a captain choice. A very, very strange one. I think let's just read what Aston Villa Bozzy's saying. I haven't read it yet. I just want to say big up to Dean for calling it weeks ago. Jackson is utter garbage. Well said. Yeah, I'm standing by that, mate. I'm not saying he's garbage. He's obviously a good footballer. The geezer's not going to score enough goals, and it's no help to Chelsea, and he's certainly no help to us in FPL. Chelsea will be buying a new striker in January. I'm convinced of it. But yeah, Chelsea are a weird team, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there were loads on a triple up of Sterling, Jackson, and Chilwell accumulated 3 whopping points between them. By the way, Cameron Starr is in the house with Daisy.
Hey.
We missed you on Friday, Cam, so welcome back. Shout out Daisy. Michael says out of focus. I don't know if that's in relation to perhaps our cameras, but our producers downgraded our StreamYard package, so we're not on HD anymore. We're on 720 instead of 1080.
I'm on 720 still, yeah.
See the difference. They see the difference straight away, this lot.
Maybe, yeah. I'm in a different room as well. I'm testing new surroundings. I'm fed up of being an adult and having to use an ironing board in the lounge. So I've decided the kids, basically this is the space I used to use in lockdown. All their toys and stuff are in it, and they just got taken over. I was like, no, I am reclaiming this space. I mean, excuse the bare walls right now. Like, I do need to sort that out. But
I'll send you some prints, mate.
Send me, something.
Is Italy beating England at Wembley enough? All right.
Yeah, can you imagine? Do you know what? I've still never ever seen haven't seen like the outcome of that game. Never seen Italy lift a trophy. I've never watched back a single second of that Euros final, mate.
Oh my god! I reckon that's my most watched clip on YouTube.
Is it?
That penalty shootout?
Never seen it again. Never.
Oh, you're fair one to be honest. Yeah, loads of newbies in the chat as well. There's loads of our chasers. I can see Josh and Luke and CH and Mark and Mike. Cam's there, obviously with Daisy, Aston Villa, Bozzy. Welcome to Brian. Welcome to RTJ, one of my squad members, and Mike and Leo. Good to see you all tonight. If you're a lurker, feel free to drop a message in the chat. 720 explains it, says Michael. Thanks. Not enough pixels, but needs must. No, look, if you guys keep the super chats coming in, we'll upgrade again. The money we get on this channel goes straight back into it.
Yeah, it was only recently we found out some of you actually do watch this on TV rather than just on your iPhone or whatever. So I guess it does make the difference.
Yeah, I think so. Good quality productions are important, aren't they? We'll be back, I'm sure, with 1080p in the not too distant, guys. Watch this space. What we've got coming up tonight, Dean, we're going to do a bit of eye test scouting and do some bonus beasts. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of chat around both our teams, because haven't you just leapfrogged me?
Well, apparently, I haven't actually seen this for sure. I saw in our chat that apparently I am leading the table, and indeed I am actually. I'm joint top with the producer.
Oh God, I'm not even second
at the moment. We both on 293. I've got Gusto to come in, so I should get that
as well.
Big man backer, mate.
I'm an expert.
Almost out of sight as far as he's concerned. 8 points ahead. But I said in the chat, "Oh, Dean's leading. What a week!" I was like, lads, I got 40 points. Like, I'm not claiming that this is some massive triumph. You lot are just having a mare as well. I mean, none of us are doing particularly well at the moment, so I'm not going to get too excited by this. I'm winning, and my overall rank is like 1 million and something. I don't even know, but it's not something to write home about. Cam's coming with a super chat. Hope you're both well. Thanks for the content, mate. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
If we're 1080p on Friday, you can thank one man and one man only, and his daughter, Cam and Daisy.
We could do it.
That'll be that might be what tips us over the edge. And actually, I think Really Quilted said he's a TV watcher. Mike says He's on his phone in the chat, but the TV to view. So he's getting 2 views and hopefully 2 likes from Mike. I love that.
I've never thought of that on even other shows that I watch.
Yeah,
That's
get
quite
it in
a
the
good idea.
hand. All right, same.
Nice one, Mike. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that very much. Just looking at our producer, Marcy, captain Salah, fair play to him. And your team, I mean, your 40 points with Gusto still to come in is massive. Me and Big Man Baka are under 30 points. I've still got Turner to play. And actually, so has Big Man. He's got Pickford on his bench. We'll go through our teams. We'll also look at the Chaser team. Spoiler alert, I'm not sure you guys are going to be too happy. We took a -4, didn't we? We'll talk about the Chaser team later in the show, so stay tuned for that. And as always on a Monday, we'll be answering some of your questions. But without further ado, let's crack on with a little bit of eye test scouting and some notes from the weekend just gone. Here we go. It turns out watching it on a TV with your phone in hand on the chat is quite common. Brian's also doing it. There we go. I'm all for 2 views for 1. That is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Guys.
Well, actually, it's bad news for us. It turns out we've got half the amount of viewers we actually thought if everyone's doing it. We thought we were getting more popular, but actually everyone's just like changed their method of watching. Probably got less people. I normally do my notebook, but we're going to do a bit of an eye test this week. There's not too much news bouncing around. But obviously I was at Fulham v Luton at the weekend. Couple of things to report back to you all. 1, it was one of the worst games I've ever been to. 2,
told you that
look, someone said it a minute ago. Target Luton. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Mark said.
I've been saying it all season.
Yeah, but I mean, now I've seen them. It's quite hard to target them, because they're a frustrating team to play against.
Are they?
Like,
Were they?
Fulham set like a possession record in this match, like is the most possession ever in a Premier League match. Yeah,
right.
We had like 77%, I think, possession, which we don't get. And I knew we were going to get like a lot of the ball, and I knew also we were going to have to be patient because a lot of Luton's games, if you look back across the season, for like 60 to 70 minutes, they do manage to hold out and typically not concede more than 1 in that period. And then they've been killed off late on. Fulham did get the goal around the hour mark with Vinicius, but we couldn't get the second. But honestly, like Luton just stuck 7, 8 men behind the ball. And I'm thinking, like, what is the point of you doing this? So they've now played 4 games. They haven't got a single point from doing this. It ain't going to work.
Yeah, but the fixtures have been tough. I mean, they've played Chelsea, Brighton. So what you'd expect that against those 2. West Ham's a tough one. And I feel like they had a little bit of a go against West Ham. And then I guess this was probably the game you'd expect them to express themselves a bit more. And they conceded 77% possession. What did Morris look like? Because a lot of FPL managers will bring Morris in for the double game week 7.
He's all right, mate. He's all right. Him and Chong are actually, they're both pretty decent assets, I think. Like Chong breaks out the middle. So they do play on the break. And look, to be fair, like they hit the post. They had another chance. Can't remember who it was. And Leno saved it, but it was a glaring opportunity. It would have been a high XG opportunity. So they definitely had chances to score here, but neither of them did go in. And I'm just looking at it thinking, look, yes, the fixtures might look easier because, look, the next one, Wolves at home. Wolves, trust me, are a much, much better team than Luton. Like, I know, like, people are, Wolves aren't doing that well. Forget that. They will beat Luton. I mean, look, Luton have only played 1 home game. Maybe their strength is going to be at home. So I can't give a full analysis of what their home form is like right now. But I would still expect Wolves to actually win that game. And I think Neto is a good guy to pick. After that, is it Burnley? Is it the Burnley game that comes after that? Yeah, it is. They've got that Burnley game in hand coming up as well. They've also got Everton away. So, look, again, Everton will expect to beat Luton. And for Sean Dyche, that game is probably going to be massive. Might even save his job at that point, to be honest. So, yeah, target Luton where you can. The other thing I was going to say, talking of Leno making that save, mate, he's a proper FPL asset, this guy. Like, he's good. He's so good. And Fulham have got some decent fixtures coming up. So if you are looking at your goals keeping options right now, and it is becoming a little tricky. Obviously, like Onana basically lets in anything that's hit his way. Ramsdale now, not who knows who's going to be in goal for Arsenal. We can't really pick either of those guys anymore.
Turner could lose his spot.
Turner could lose his spot, exactly. Yeah. So if you're thinking
Johnston could,
a keeper that's going to play every single week, might let in goals, sure, but will also make tons of saves because Fulham are conceding tons of chances. I think our XG against is perhaps the highest in the league. I don't know for that for sure, but we're definitely giving up a lot of chances. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Leno saves them, so we're all right.
I think it was
brilliant.
Fulham, Sheffield United, and Luton in the bottom 3 for XG against them going into game week 5. But Leno's great because I think a lot of the, he's just brilliant. He's just good at.
He's brilliant. Yeah.
I'd rather. That's why I don't buy players like Ederson, because genuinely you want your goalkeeper to keep clean sheets. Of course you do. But you also want goalkeepers that are involved and have to make saves, which is why historically we've always had 4.5 and 5 million keepers. The 5.5 guys, Ederson, I'm going to put as a standout. The ceiling is 6 points. They don't get save points. And with that, they'll never get bonus either. So I think Alisson might be 5.5 this year, which I don't hate because he actually will get save points and a good amount of clean sheets.
Yeah, he will, yeah.
Ederson just doesn't get the saves. So definitely steer clear. And Leno, I'm with you. I think so far, for those that wildcarded game week 5, and there are a lot of them, I think around 300,000-400,000 managers might have wildcarded, which is, 1 in 20, 1 in 30 teams. A ton of them would have gone Leno and Areola as the best double up. They rotate really nicely. Fulham's next few fixtures are brilliant. And it's just standout pick. Actually, I want to just talk about Fulham defense now with a bonus points beast in this game, because you can give us the lowdown on this, Dean, in terms of the eye test, but the stats back it up. Timothy Castagna was a great signing for Fulham because he's proven in the Premier League he can play left back, right back. He offers a bit of attacking threat, which is nice in the team he's playing in, because you wouldn't look at the fullbacks in your team and go, they're great attacking. They're good, but they're not great. And he's a threat in the opposition box. Castagna does go up for set pieces, or did at Leicester, and can get his head on them, despite not being the biggest. So here, he topped out the bonus, beating Ream and goal scorer Vinicius. And it's just his underlying stats that are so good. For the bonus points, you need high pass completion. Well, he ticked that box, 55 out of 61, which is he's on the ball a ton. That's a lot of passes for a Fulham defender. 4 tackles is massive. 2 clearances, block shot. Like, the key pass is still in there. So, we like that very much. Did he look good?
He did, yeah. He played left back, which is Anthony Robinson's spot.
Yeah.
And he won't keep that spot. That's the thing. Anthony Robinson's really important to the way that Fulham attack.
Yeah.
But Castagna's a better defender. So the people around me at Fulham were actually really, really impressed by him, and just love the fact he can actually defend. Yeah. We've also got Calvin Bassey, who can play centre back. Then Calvin Bassey was expected to be our backup left back, but clearly he's our backup centre back now. So the good thing with Castagna is he can also play right back, obviously. And Kenny Tete, he actually did go down with an injury at one point during the game, and I thought, at least we've got plenty of options here, because Calvin Bassey can go left back and Castagna can just go across to the right. So it's a little bit of a risk because we have got good fullbacks anyway, but he definitely gave Marco Silva something to think about. Cameron's saying, is he nailed? He's definitely not nailed, and that was the first we've seen of him. Brian Morrissey, when did Fulham sign Castagna? Yeah, quite a bit towards the back end of the window. But look, he's a really, really good option for Fulham, and those stats definitely back up what I was seeing on the day. A really, really good player for Fulham, and in a few weeks, maybe someone we can consider. But let's see. I mean, Fulham play Palace away at the weekend. Let's see who actually plays at fullback in that match. Maybe he'll win his spot, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can't see him beating Robinson to the left back spot, but maybe there's a window there above Tete. But likewise, he doesn't play. He's not known for playing centre back, but especially in a back 3, we've seen it in the past. Like at times, Leicester went to a 5. I think even for Belgium, he may have got some minutes in a back 3. He can do that job at centre back. Now, Fulham don't play with a back 3, back 5, but should they move there, they've got a centre-back, full-back that can play that role, which is quite a specialist role. A lot of centre-backs don't do well out wide in a back 3. Castagna's certainly very comfortable there.
Yeah, Punder's saying Ream also got bonus. Look, I don't know whether that was because of how often he had the ball. Fulham had 77% possession, remember, right? We weren't fast with it either. Fulham are quite zippy normally, we weren't zippy, so there's a lot of just passing it around at the back. So I'm imagining like Ream's completed passes were probably pretty high, stuff like that. He wasn't like a great performance from him, and he wasn't under threat that much. Maybe he made some good interceptions or something. I can't really remember. But yeah, and RTJ says Raul Jimenez shout out for the next couple of weeks. I don't know if he'll be playing.
With the Vinicius goal as well. I put this in my one of my top differentials the other day, and now I'm almost backtracking on that. But look, let's move away from Fulham and onto our next bonus beast section or player. We've got who else? We got I think two from Saturday's game. That was it. Another cheap defender. This is a guy that a lot will move to because I want to invest in the Newcastle defense. Now we're seeing a bit of a fixture swing, but this is a cheap route. Like, sure, if you can go and afford Trippier, you're gonna long term get more points from Trippier, who also got bonus, as did Schär. But Botman topped the bonus. It was those 4 clearances that probably did it. He also created a big chance, which you're not usually expecting with Botman. But this is a guy that will play every minute of every game if he's fit. Unlike Schär, who will pick up more injuries, and Trippier that might suffer a little bit with playing twice in a week every week. Cameron says less rotation risk than trips. Botman's essential 4.5. I would go so far as to say he's now the best 4.5 asset in the game. He probably wasn't game week 1 because we saw the fixtures, and I went for someone like Colwill because I preferred the fixtures, but it was always with a view to when I wildcard, Botman will be my 4.5. Now, Udogie has come out and massively climbed in price. I think he's 4.8 now. I'd probably prefer Udogie to Botman if you can afford the extra pennies, but yeah, at this price point and no higher, Botman is the standout. And let us know in the chat if you own him.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I don't know if I'm going to pick. I've got Udogie. I was thinking, do I pick him against Arsenal? I'm not sure if I'm going to,
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know.
they'll definitely concede, won't they? That game has got
concede, goals. Yeah. So I'm not sure I'm even going to have Udogie in my team next week, but I definitely take your point. Someone just asked me if I'm drinking a G&T. No, I'm not. I'm drinking water. Brian, I love the idea that I'm sat here drinking a G&T. Are you having a G&T or are you drinking water?
No. Agua Mineral. It's Monday night. Come on.
I know.
We need some more super chats for a gin and tonic, mate. Colm said the cheek of Janny. Let's move away from Fulham.
We're just getting into that, aren't we, Colm? He's a Fulham fan.
Sorry, Colm.
The Fulhamish podcast there.
Off the back of a win, I really should give Dean more than 7-8 minutes to chat Fulham.
Don't worry, we've got another one coming. I'm going to Palace away on Saturday. We've got another win coming.
Very good. Yeah, off the back of their defeat. Other players to catch the eye this weekend. We've gone with 2 kind of unfashionable picks in bonus beast, but away from purely bonus points, we probably have to talk a little bit about Brighton Man United. That was the big game from the weekend. Just want to shout out a stat here, and I posted this on Twitter. In 3 of the 5 Brighton games, De Zerbi has bought off 3 of the attacking 4 players, right? They play a 4-2-3-1. It's the 3 behind the number 9. So the number 9, the number 10, the left winger, the right winger. They all come off other than one man. Who gets 90? Matoma. I know Matoma didn't get points, but if you are looking for a route to the Brighton attack, because you see they go to Old Trafford and score 3 goals, and you're worried about the share of points, but you're also worried about the share of minutes, Matoma is 100%, and we said this would be the case, and it has been, he's the safest. He had a shot saved by Nana fairly late in the game. I still think Matoma looked really sharp and looked really good. I'm interested to see how they compete in Europe and see if their Premier League form suffers. But I think even this weekend, like, they got Bournemouth at home. And I'm quite impressed by Bournemouth this season. I think they play quite nice football. I think they'll be quite good at home, Bournemouth. But on the road, I think they might be vulnerable. And I expect Brighton to go score 3 goals against this Bournemouth team. And I'm looking at it going, maybe I actually want to go double Brighton attack short term and a punt on someone like a Ferguson. But so much depends on what we see on Thursday night with minutes that those Brighton players get. Because De Zerbi is one of those managers that will go, you're in the red zone, you've played too many games. So Estupinan, we thought, will probably play. No. De Zerbi was like, he had 180 minutes playing in South America, long flight back. No, he needs a rest. And De Zerbi will use his squad. So just be cautious with Brighton. But they were good. They were so good. That
squad is outrageous. Like, I was looking at it as obviously I watched it on it was game of the day on Sky, so I watched the full game when I got back from the Fulham match. And like Man United were like making their subs, right? So they're like, how can we change this game? And they're like Garnacho, Pellistri, Hannibal. Brighton are bringing on Ansu Fati, Evan Ferguson, João Pedro, James Milner, Billy Gilmore. I'm like, Brighton have got better strength in depth than Man United. Like, Man United are trying to change this game to get back in it, but Brighton are making better changes.
Fair
Like,
point.
unbelievable.
Ansu Fati was rated as, like, if you go back 2 years and you looked at the best talent in Europe for, I don't know, under 20s or best teenagers in Europe, Ansu Fati would have been in everyone's top 3 or 4, wouldn't he? Like,
No
the
doubt
fact
about
Brighton have landed him, it's massive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Ansu just had really bad luck with injuries. He made an unbelievable impact on La Liga, and then he's just had really bad luck. So he's really desperate to make an impact this season, and I think he will by the end. But obviously, we don't know when these games are coming at the moment, so we've got to be patient with it.
Yeah, 200 of you watching. Please hit that like button if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you're watching on your phone and TV, I don't know if there's a way of you liking it on your TV, but if that's possible, appreciate you. We've got to talk Man City. We've got to talk Liverpool. The old cliche of game of two halves, sure. Like Wolves dominated Liverpool, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then you knew as soon as you see those missed the Cunha back post chance that he fluffed, Neto put it on a plate for him. As soon as you see him go in, and you're like, you had loads of opportunities. You should be 3-0 up. You're 1-0 up. Liverpool going to come and batter you second half. That's exactly what they did. Note that Darwin came off the bench and looked good. He tried Hakpo and Jota. Didn't look great. I wonder if Darwin is going to be the number 9 moving forward. Obviously, he had played for Uruguay and came off with a bit of a knock in game 2 for Uruguay. I think that's probably why he didn't start. But Salah is the assist king. He used to be the goal king. He's 4 assists now.
Mate. Just glad I've kept faith in him.
Well played.
This was a big. It's probably the reason I'm top of our mini league right now, to be honest, because he's probably a bit of a differential in our league. I would imagine. I haven't been for everyone's teams, but I imagine maybe a couple of us have got him, but certainly not everyone would. And the same in my other main mini league that I'm in. The guy that is usually winning our league there, he's got Salah. I've got Salah, but most of the rest of the league haven't. And there's like 12, 13 of us in that league. He does look like he's worth persisting with, doesn't he?
Yeah. Can't get to him either. Like, he's a real good differential for you because so many can't get there in one move. I've got loads of money in the bank. I've got 2.1. I still can't get to Salah in one move. Like, it feels like to get Salah, you need to either take hits, roll transfers, sure, but for many it will be you probably have to wait to your wild card because it's the whole structure of your squad now. So those that went there early are being massively rewarded. I'd love him next week. Got good fixture as well next week.
It is a good fixture next week. Like Leo says, like Salah's in my average is 255 a season. And look, do I think he'll get to those top heights this season? Probably not quite because the goals aren't there at the moment. But because there is that like pedigree in the game, this game and the real game, it's very hard to go against it. And there's so many players that we're contemplating. Like last week, I had to make that decision, like to get Son into my team. Who was I going to lose? Was it going to be Rashford? Was it going to be Saka? Was it going to be Salah? And in the end, I took Rashford out.
Yeah, me too.
Thank God I didn't take Salah out. Thank God I kept faith in it.
We got a bit lucky with Rashford, actually. You made the right call over Salah and Rashford, but for many it was Rashford or Saka or Foden, and I for a mini second considered selling Saka. It was more between Foden and Rashford, but Saka got the return, but didn't look that involved, and Rashford blanked, but looked quite good. He clocked an XG, I think 0.6. We obviously know the ball was marginally over the line for the Højlund goal, which would have been a Rashford assist. Man United don't look on it, but Højlund and Rashford both look sharp. And I'm looking at maybe Højlund for game week 6. Or maybe bringing back in Rashford. I'm not so sure yet, but I definitely want that United attack covered, I think, with single United. I'm definitely not there for the double. But talking about getting away with it, Dean, we've got to talk a little bit about Haaland because we both went against the big man. If ever there was a week where Haaland really wasn't on his game in front of goal, it was against West Ham. He should have got 20 points. He could have easily had 15, 20 points. He was that many big chances. Like, we got away with one there.
Really did. It was one of those where I'm like, obviously at the Fulham game and just the phone wasn't loading at all. I'm hearing a few bit of a chat around the ground about like other results and stuff. And I heard City had scored, and I'm like just listening out. Someone goes, "It's Doku, it's Doku." And I'm like, "Yes, it wasn't Haaland. It wasn't Haaland." It wasn't until I like got out of the stadium that I'd seen that Haaland did manage to get a late goal. But I tell you what, I was like, I'll take that. I don't mind that. Like Haaland, he's going to score a goal, but if he doesn't get any more than a goal, like, and I haven't captained him, you've got to cash out on that moment, because equally he could have gone and bagged a hat trick, and I could have misplaced the captaincy armband on Son in that week, and I'd have been dead and buried, like a few of us would. And yeah, Haaland not in his game, but it's an interesting one because obviously we're all still going to stick with him, but the captaincy is becoming a bit interesting now, because there is more of a temptation every time like a Salah or a Son has a good fixture now. So I'm glad, like last season, it was like set and forget, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be a case, especially hopefully once we get this Champions League. Hopefully City struggle a little bit in the Champions League and it's not like a walkover early doors.
Have you seen that group?
I have, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, game week 8, Haaland has away at the Emirates, and I think Son has Luton. Like that week straight away, there'll be options. The chat. Thanks for your comments. I saw someone said about we got away with one. No Haaland captain, but also no Rashford. But in the same week, you feel lucky that those things happened. You can always. This is FPL in a nutshell. There's always one side where you go, I've been really lucky there. But there's always I've been unlucky. And then most FPL managers always feel like they're unlucky, right? So straight away, I'm like, I got lucky with Haaland. But did you not see that, some of those misses were from Foden assists, which I didn't get the points for? Or the fact that Son could have had a penalty because Maddison went down. That would have been a goal and an assist for me, a captain goal. Oh, Colwill, I got him. He had a goal disallowed, and he had an XG after that goal of 0.54 or whatever it was. Like, there's always those things. Not that I'm, ever bitter and go to bed thinking of those
Doesn't sound like it.
Cameron says, Gianni, as a fellow member of the Foden fan club, we've got to stick with him next fixture. Really underwhelming at the moment. Doku seems much more involved. Cam, I was looking at the average position map this morning. I actually posted it on Twitter, the pass map and the average position map. Foden is the closest to Haaland still. Alvarez was obviously central behind him in the KDB role. Foden right, Doku left. Foden is still in very good positions, and he could have had a couple of assists. It's Nottingham Forest at home. At the moment, it's Alvarez, and we're seeing a ton of traffic going that way, and rightly so. He's playing brilliantly, Alvarez. But that could very easily switch to next week for a couple of weeks. It's Foden who's outperforming Alvarez, and he's the next best thing at Man City. I think for the time being, we stay with these guys. The bad news for Foden and Alvarez is Grealish is out the Champions League time midweek. So again, you're like, that's another game these two are going to play. What if Grealish is back for the weekend? Does one of them miss out? But I'd like to think it's probably Doku that comes out, just because being a newbie, Pep might not want him playing too many sets of 90.
Yeah, I mean, Pep's comments on Doku were interesting. He said, he had a so-so game against Fulham on his debut, but here he was basically electric. I'm just not sure that Guardiola likes people being electric too often. He doesn't like typically players of Doku style, and he knocks it out of them, So it'll be interesting to see whether he lets him carry on playing his natural game, or whether he slightly alters it, and we start to see Doku, not quite getting past the defenders like he normally would. He'll still get at them, but will he get past them like you would expect him to, and running behind like you'd expect him to? I don't know. There's a tendency to knock that out of people.
Yeah, I remember when we signed Jack Grealish, we're all so excited we're going to see like this wild card maverick, and like straight away it's like Grealish played well, but he never played amazingly well. It was more get the ball, get fouled or pass backwards, and he did his job.
Gwyn with the big news there. Gwyn has dropped the best message of the night.
What was
Matt Turner starts.
Oh, come on. Was it? How do we know that? Is it 7:30 kickoff, is it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
Seems like an early, because usually you get it an hour before.
You do usually, yeah.
Unless it's a leak. It must be a leak. 7:45 kickoff. Guys, just one final shout out and we'll move on. This is a guy no one picks in FPL ever. He's 8% owned, but even when he's scoring goals, he's massively. In fact, I'm not going to tell you. Let us know in the chat who I'm talking about. He's 8% owned. He's a midfielder. He's been in the game since game week 2 this season. He goes 9 points, 6 points, 7.7 points, and he's a really good underrated FPL pick every season. We know we're going to get points from some of his set piece delivery. Hint, hint. I think that might be enough. No, not Kulusevski. Oh, but Barney's got it straight away. And then Mark Nagani, punter. Yeah, Ward-Prowse. Like, he's just not fashionable in the way he plays the game, in the way he looks, in the team he plays for. He's a solid FPL asset at 6 million. Like, he ticks along and then some. Just for his set piece delivery, you'd go, at West Ham, especially with players like Zuma on the end of them, you're going to get some points. But he's actually more than that. Charlie Adams, says Brian.
Imagine that.
I'm probably never going to pick Ward-Prowse, but I probably should consider him. Would you go there?
No, I wouldn't. I don't know why. I never picked Ward-Prowse then, generally anyway. I think I've had him a few times, but it's like Pascal Gross. Why am I not picking Pascal Gross? He's 2% owned. His last 3 weeks, he's got 10, 3 and 10.
And he is a 90-minute man. Like we spoke about earlier, like, I know he's not in the front four, but even when he plays right back or as a DM, he still gets into shooting positions quite regularly.
Mate, Bournemouth next, then Villa away. Okay, then Liverpool next after that. But seeing Pascal Gross, I was like, why do I always Was he Brighton's highest scorer last season? Am I right in saying that?
I think he might have outperformed March and Matoma, or if not, it was like 2 points.
It was right up there with them, wasn't
it? And we all went March and Matoma, never went Gross.
Exactly, we never even considered him.
Yeah, and he's cheaper than them, I think, now.
6.3 is that,
yeah. So he's dropped because they were all starting the season at 6.5.
Yeah, in terms of form, he's like in terms of midfielders, he's ranked 2 at the moment in midfielders. Pascal Gross, so he's someone we really shouldn't be overlooking like this.
Yeah, completely. Someone says, "Yeah, you go Bowen over Ward-Prowse." Well, yeah, but Bowen's more expensive. Like, money's important in FPL. Like, we're talking about a 6.1 asset. If you think of all the players that start the season at 6 million, Ward-Prowse is clearly the pick there. But let's move on. Thank you guys for your comments. As always, we're loving the chat. Likes and subscribes. You're all subscribed to Chasing. Can we do a poll? Can we do a poll in the chat? Are you subscribed currently before voting to Chasing Green Arrows? I'm just want to know what I'm dealing with. Be honest. Like, if you're not subscribed, that's cool. We've got to earn it. We've got to work it. But we'll put a poll out and we'll see what you guys say to that. And then we're doing some more polls later in the show. So we're going to see the community team, but we have to see our teams first, Dean. And of course, we'll answer your questions always throughout the show. Punter says 5.5 for Gordon. Yeah, but again, not a nailed asset. Like, you could see Almiron play right, Barnes left. At the moment, Gordon's playing well. Get voting, guys, in the next sting, because we've got Pimp My Team coming next.
Yeah, so here we go with the mighty 40 points, which apparently is a good score this week. Yeah, I mean, as I said before, Salah's got me off the hook a little bit with his performance. Handy that Watkins popped up as well with some points eventually. Gusto will be coming in for Estupinan. Andreas didn't turn out to be a very good pick against Luton. Thought that might have been a good little differential, but he probably won't be in this team very long. Iwobi came on, by the way, for Fulham and looked really good. Like, he really helped to change the game. I don't know where he's going to be playing yet, but it won't be long before he's in this team. Was
he quite central when he came on? He looked central on Match of the Day.
Yeah, he was central. Yeah, he might have even come on for Pereira. I can't remember who he came on for.
Okay.
But Iwobi, definitely, he was part of the double substitution when Vinicius came and he helped to change things. So looked good. But yeah, I've got a few things in this team that I don't like. I don't like Enzo anymore. Don't like Andreas. Don't like Baldock. That's probably
but those 3 pointers are huge this week, mate. Enzo and Andreas, it feels like a return. They've done well for you, and you've got Gusto coming in. Like, so Gusto gets 6 points or 7. Did he pick up bonus? I can't remember. But regardless,
like, 6 there. Yeah, I mean,
you've got Turner as well. This feels like a massive green arrow.
Gusto just missed out. He just missed out on the bonus. Yeah.
Okay. So look, proper good effort in terms of your early transfer thoughts. Any idea where? I mean, Watkins has got Chelsea away. but still, it's a return for Watkins. European football starts obviously back for him this week. Any spot you think likely to go?
Do you know what? I don't know that I will, to be honest. I mean, we'll see what's happening with this. I'm thinking I'll probably keep what I've got for now, because I can feel that I've just tinkered with my team and picked what I would pick next week, and I'd probably bring Archer into the team at home to Newcastle on the back of the fact they've got AC Milan in midweek, and they've just gone through that pretty rubbish game that we've just seen at the weekend. Like Archer at home, I don't mind sticking him into my team when Sheffield United are at home. Probably won't pick him away too many times. So I don't mind that top three, and then I can have Saka, Enzo, Son, and Salah in midfield. Love that.
You could roll.
And then Gusto, Guardiola, and Estupinan all have home fixtures next weekend, so I can go with that back three. And then it's really a case of, do I stick with Onana? Like, they got Burnley away, so you think it would be safe, but I know they bought the bloke because he's good at passing, but it'd help if he could save some shots.
Honestly, like there's a really popular goalkeeper combination, and we're being massively let down. It feels like we are by Onana. Like, clean sheets just don't even look close. Like, we're not even seeing games where they concede one late on, and you're like, oh, it's really close to a clean sheet.
No.
The annoying thing about Onana now is, if you've got Turner and Onana, Turner will eventually lose his spot. It might be by game week 5 or 6. I mean, I don't know if it's confirmed he's starting tonight. I think he's likely to. But inevitably, he'll lose it at some point. They've bought the guy from Benfica for a reason. But we're probably, even if Turner was around, the Nottingham Forest fixtures, ideally, you don't want to play Turner against Man City. You don't want to play him. You could play him against Brentford, but then he goes to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. He's got Liverpool coming up. Ideally, we want to rely on Onana, like, 70, 80% of the time? And it feels like we can't even do that. And actually, maybe the Nottingham Forest keeper is, at times, that quite often, the better shout. So, Danny sold Onana last week, he says in the chat.
Yeah, honestly, I think quite a lot of people will be. I mean, 22% owned at the moment, and he's not really doing much to give us confidence that he's worth keeping. Especially, we talked earlier about Leno and Areola and stuff like that. There are good options out there, but we shall see, mate. We shall see. Let's move on to your one.
Yeah, let's have a look. Come on then. Let's keep this one quick. It's a shocker.
This has got to be down there for you as one of your worst ever weeks, isn't it?
Probably. I haven't looked at my game week rank, but yeah, it will be bad. From the 9 million plus players, it's probably a 7 million rank. Like, it's shocking. Yeah, there's not much to say. I backed against Haaland and it didn't work. Yellow cards all over the place. Like, Chilwell actually, I think, got 1 point. I think that's wrong. I think Chilwell got 1 point, didn't he? I'm sure he got booked. In fact, Chilwell got 0 points because he came on and then got booked. Christ,
he did,
I haven't got 29.
I'll have a look.
The app does say 29, so maybe it's just the maths that's wrong on this one. But Colwill got me 6, which felt massive. When he came off, I was cheering because I was like, Chelsea will probably concede in the last 10 minutes, and Colwill's now off the pitch. Another yellow card for Jackson. Jackson, Dean, 4 yellow cards. He's 1 yellow off a ban.
No way, is he?
Yeah.
Mate, might do you a favour, to be fair.
Game week 6.
Whoever that game was where he's banned, I might actually back you to win a game.
Oh, Brian's just said in the chat, and Leo, about the ban. We're both thinking that at the same time. Saka's return felt a little bit lucky, relied on a bit of a worldie from Trossard. But moving forward, I don't know what I'm going to do with my team. I like my team. I'm not wildcarding. I'm just putting it down to a bad week. In terms of transfers, I don't know quite what I'm doing. We'll update you on Friday's show, but Jackson could go. I could go for a forward punt, like a Darwin, a Ferguson, a Højlund.
Watkins playing against Chelsea.
Yeah. I still like the RB. Oh, by the way, 80% from 105 that voted are subscribed. So there's over 20 of you. There's 21 of you that voted no. If you 21 fancy hitting the subscribe button, that'd be awesome. And for all of you that are subscribed, apparently you can subscribe and you can turn notifications on. I hope you've all got notifications on because we don't always go live at 6, do we? We do a lot of 7.
Just mix it around, man.
We do a Wednesday show with Big Man Backer. That time changes a lot. So, make sure you feel those notifications on. After this week, Gianni, I feel he's taking a big gamble next week. Oh, is that... Sorry, the community team suffers because Gianni influenced it too much. Cyber. If anyone influenced it, it was CH this week, not me.
You did try and stay out of it, to be fair. And you all decided... They captain Maddison, didn't they?
Oh, they did.
Let's have a look at it. You absolute melons. What are you doing? I said at the time that I could not understand, and I know I can't boast too much about giving Son the armband, but come on, that was a bad call.
Who do we sell? Who do we sell? I bet they got points. Who do we sell? I can't remember. Oh,
God,
João Pedro scored.
Oh no.
Melons.
Absolute melons.
And I did say that João Pedro, with
You guys, you did
Enciso
actually.
injured.
You were one of the few people that was still backing him. I said it was okay to get rid of him.
And he was benched, to be fair.
Leo, this is getting bad to worse. Really is. Yeah, the Melon 11, we're going to have to start calling this lot. It's a disastrous week, that is. That is very bad going. But luckily, it's only game week 5, and there's time to turn it around. I mean, Martinelli,
he was unlucky.
He was unlucky, but like now he's injured. It's like
the wheels are falling off. Back to template picks as Cam.
You got to keep going, guys. You got to rectify this somehow. So start thinking about what on earth you're going to be doing on Friday to rescue this team. Got to be a big one.
Yeah, I think so. Let us know on Friday, guys. Make sure you're in the chat because we'll be voting for captaincy again, and we'll be voting for transfer. I actually feel like our bus team, our team will be fairly well set. Yeah, Pajitir says Melons and Pigeons FC. I have been on Pigeon Watch tonight. You'd have seen me staring out my window. Still nothing. Let's move on. Oh no, we still got loads of time. Let's stay on the. Look, we got time. And we said we'd do it towards the end of the show each week because we know this isn't for everyone. But I think Monday night audience are definitely invested in the Chaser team. So in terms of early thoughts, Dean, is there any pressing transfer outs you think could be obvious here? Is it Martinelli?
It's got to be Martinelli, hasn't it? I mean, I haven't seen what the follow up is on his injury news, but I mean, Arsenal have got Tottenham next. It's not like I'm expecting like a major haul from them in that game. Yeah, they don't have like a great run of games. So
don't need Arsenal midfield, do we? What's your take on Chilwell?
I mean, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? I mean, look, Chilwell's gone from one extreme to another. He's gone from being like the number one attacker to being left out. I think he'd still be like largely used. I mean, see what happens too with Reece James, whether he's back in there too as well. But I still think Chilwell's a good pick, to be honest. Like I would stick with that one. I think Rashford has the potential to turn the corner soon. Like Man United do have good fixtures coming up. Like apart from Bayern Munich in midweek, which doesn't affect us in this game, United in the next month do have a run of games where you would expect them to start like working their way up the table. And if they're going to do that, you saw at the weekend, Rashford's the guy that's going to make the difference, especially now they've got Højlund. He's got something to actually aim for with his cutbacks and stuff. So I think that Rashford will be good. Maddison, look, Tottenham are still good. Like he's a good pick to have. So it's fine as long as he hasn't got the armband. I don't mind the team. Like I actually don't mind this team. But
I think it's I feel like it's a better team than mine.
Do you? Yeah. I mean, when you go through it player by player, I mean, obviously you can reflect on the points and I can make fun of it by calling them melons. But yeah, it's just getting that next change right. The Martinelli one, who is the guy to go for there? Like it is tricky. It's really hard to get it right because form at the moment is very hard to read.
Yeah. It's so hard, and we've still got a small sample size. Like we forget, like it's still only 5 games for some 4. It's difficult to make full judgment on the back of a few performances, especially when it's like teams like Luton and Burnley that have had 4 games, and the opposition they've had, Burnley only 3. You're like, oh, I can't judge them because Burnley have played Man City and they've played whoever. Like it's been a tough run. Nottingham Forest do not tweet their lineup; they tweet a link to their website to see the lineup. They're the only team in the Premier League that do that. And then you go on their website, the link doesn't even take you straight to lineups. The link takes you to the homepage, and then you have to click on lineups. And it says lineups to be announced, and it's not actually on there.
Oh my God, like that.
So they've tweeted the lineup, and it's literally, it says that.
I would just wait for the opponents to like tweet their team every week. Like I would not go through that. That is ridiculous. They're not going to get enough traffic for that to be worthwhile, surely. But
So
yeah,
is Turner starting? Does anyone in the chat know?
yeah, they have confirmed. Someone did just confirm a second ago that he has got the nod. So I'll try and go on my app now to just double check. But someone did just say confirmed Turner starts. So yeah, confirmed lineup. Matt Turner, number 1
Nice.
for this game tonight. Callum Hudson-Odoi starts as well.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's worth eye test scouting for that one alone. I think
I
he's like
tell
a
you
5
what,
million
like
mid.
you look at this Forest team that's going to play tonight. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs White, Awonyi, like that is going to be worth a watch. That could be
Yeah.
worth a watch. Sangare, holding things together in the middle. That's a nice team that Forest are building there. I'll be very surprised if they don't get the points tonight.
He's 4.9 million, Hudson-Odoi. Like Elanga's 5, but if Hudson-Odoi can
He's been so out of it, mate. He's
he
been
has.
so out of form and went out to Germany, did nothing out there, really struggled with the whole adaptation, couldn't find his form. It's a shame. Like, look, coming through, Hudson-Odoi was the best academy player pretty much Chelsea ever had.
Yeah.
For one reason or another, he just hasn't been able to do it. But this is a big opportunity for him, and would love to see it. Would love to see him come good.
Yeah, I remember Rob Green, I think, when he was at the very end of his career, went and had a year or two at Chelsea as like number 2 or 3 or whatever it was. And he said, never seen a player like him. Like Hudson-Odoi, all the kids at Chelsea, and there's been some good ones that stand out. Like, and this was back in the day. I think Sarri was the manager. Hudson-Odoi was the one.
He was.
In the chat, loads of suggestions for transfers. Loads saying Neto, Doku, Diaby. It feels like most of you lot are looking for kind of midfield option. So we'll come away from the chaser team, or we can show it again. I mean, CH is saying my burner team, my captain of Awonyi, Martinelli for Diaby. I think a lot are looking at. Let's not commit to a transfer this week, but let's just get your take.
I have to say, like Neto at 5.5 for just a weak hit to get back up there, facing Luton, who are definitely going to concede in this game. Like, I do think that is a good short term. I have to say, like, I might even contemplate going there myself. Now I'm looking at it, like thinking, who could I bring in for, say, Andreas Pereira this week? Like, I've said target Luton. Like, that seems a really good place to target.
Do you not think at Kenilworth Road they'll be all right? I'm not convinced we'll score at Kenilworth Road. I definitely want to target Luton as well, though, but mainly on the road, I think.
I mean, yeah, mainly on the road, but I don't think they're going to be like Man City when they're at home. They're going to be like Man City at home. I mean, West Ham were 2-0 up. Yeah, they were 2-0 up, weren't they? And then Luton got one back really late when they played their first game. It's hardly a cauldron. They hold about 8,000 people in there. It's like a training ground. I personally, like, as I say, we don't have a lot of evidence to show here, just 90 minutes of Kenilworth Road. But also beyond that, like a lot of years I've seen Luton play at Kenilworth Road. It's never been like
it's never felt
that hard to pick up points. And at the end of the day, the team they can put out on the pitch, they sit behind the ball. Like, you can do that anywhere. You can do that away. Like, they're going to keep doing that at home, then they're going to be in the same situation. And if they go and try and play, trust me, they'll get exposed. Like, if they actually try to play differently, no chance. No chance.
Yeah, I like the Diaby option. He's played 90 minutes in the last couple. He's still he's going to start every game. But in terms of being a 90-minute man with European football, it's important to know who's going to be on the pitch when they need him, and he will be when the game's tight. When the game's won, like Watkins, we might see some early subs. The fixtures in the next 2, I mean, you might say Chelsea's a good fixture, but they're going to Stamford Bridge. Then they get to Brighton. But Aston Villa from game week 8, we're going to want double. Honestly, I think we're going to want double. Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, Fulham. Good run. Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, Fulham in that 5. Then it is Spurs, but then it's Bournemouth. And then it gets a little bit harder. But it's a really good run.
That is a nice stretch, yeah.
They're an impressive team. Like, the wing backs are gonna at times. I should have mentioned this in the eye test. At times, Kamara, who's like arguably their best DM, him and Douglas Luiz, like they've got 2 DMs. Kamara drops into the back 3, or did at the weekend, and it became the back 3 with Pau Torres, Kamara in possession, and Konza, I think it was. And then it was Dean one side, Cash the other, playing as like wingers. And because the wide forwards there, it was Zaniolo and Diaby, play so narrow, the width is all from the wing backs in this Emery team. And Emery's done this a lot over the years. So they're so encouraged to get forward. And I just think that Moreno is going to be back in, so you don't want to go Luca Dean. But Cash and Moreno, when he's fit, feel like really good options. They're both cheap. Like Cash is 4.7 because he's had price rises. Moreno, when he comes back in, is 5. But I think we'll get loads of clean sheets and we'll get attacking returns. And then Diaby, 6.6. Like you save just under $1.5 million on Watkins, and they put up similar numbers.
Yeah, that is a good point. I need to consider that at some point because Diaby is looking like he's at least going to match Watkins at this moment across a season, but potentially even top him. So that's definitely something for me to consider as well. Eddie says he's going to need to wild card because he needs to take out Onana, Gvardiol, Chilwell, and Fernandes.
Go on,
maybe
mate. Sorry,
Eddie. No, I'm going to say maybe Eddie. I mean, probably don't.
I don't think you need to take all of them
and
out.
Chilwell are okay, and
Onana might give him a couple more games.
As I say, United's fixtures do get better. Like that, I know they haven't had like the worst fixture list in the world, but like their next month is nice. And if they can't get through that, then get rid of all the United players. But I do feel like there's a bounce back coming.
Yeah, Aston Villa Bozzy knows how to get my attention. Zaniolo had a great home debut. He had a brilliant game against Ukraine. So Italy in the Euros qualifying, which drew with North Macedonia again, were so poor in game 1. This was Spalletti's first games. And then game 2 against Ukraine, it became a little bit of a, we need something from this. Italy won 2-1. Zaniolo started, looked really sharp. He played off the right. And again, off the back of that performance, I was like, maybe Emery chucks him in now. And again, I think he's going to, because of Buendia's injury, Zaniolo, different style of player, but occupies one of those attacking spots. I think the front three is going to be Diaby, Watkins, Zaniolo long-term, and he looked really good. And as Aston Villa Bozzy said, his stats look good too. Is he an FPL pick yet? Probably not. But is he going to be a cheap route to the Aston Villa attack in terms of covering them? Well, hell yeah. I think he's 5.5 million. I'm just looking now. Yeah, he's 5.5. Like, if he's starting consistently, bearing in mind he'll probably not be a 90-minute man yet anyway, but his numbers looked pretty good. Like he clocked 0.27 in terms of expected assists. That's not bad at all. Just one to monitor for that price band.
Yeah, totally. Gwyn says, do any of you do Champions League fantasy? Have you ever given that a go?
I've decided not to play it because I don't want the distraction, because I'm already playing So Rare, which is a different fantasy game.
Oh, are you playing So Rare, are you?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit on So Rare. I'm playing a little bit. I'm playing casually, but I'm also doing the Serie A fantasy this season quite seriously. So because of that, I'm like,
you can't. Yeah,
I can't.
I mean, you'd have a
not
divorce
to play
coming,
it properly.
Yeah, you'd have a divorce on your hands.
Also, it's nice to watch the games without FPL.
Like, it is. Yeah,
it does change the way you watch football, and I not always for the better. And I love the Champions League, and I want to watch it completely, guilt free.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. I totally get it. Also it has that little feel like when we do a World Cup fantasy or a Euros fantasy, like it's fun, obviously it is, but it's never quite like this anyway. Like you could never get quite as into it. Alejandro says, yeah, it makes doesn't really make sense. It's a cup, not a league. Yeah, I guess that's true. But we do have a league stage, don't we? So there is a 6-week period to kind of find form, but totally get what you're saying. But yeah, did you see someone earlier mentioned Roma's 7 goals at the weekend against Empoli?
I'm so annoyed because I
did not see that coming.
Yeah, so Roma I've had a Roma defender in my Serie A team, and they keep like conceding 2 and 3. And I was like, maybe this is the week to back Lukaku, because it's after the international break. He'll start, and he hadn't started since then, until then. And then we knew Dybala was going to be fit. And I was like, no, because they've been so bad in the first 3 game weeks, let's not go near Roma attack. And they go and score 7. Dybala's genuinely one of my favourite players. Like, I think he's massively underrated.
Yeah.
I love him to be, because you're like same era as me, Dean. Like I grew up, my favorite players as a kid were players like Baggio and Del Piero. I think Dybala's that mold. There's very few players that sort of play like Baggio and Del
Oh, there's
Piero
very
used
few
to.
Dybalas around anymore, is there? Yeah, totally.
None. It's kind of
There's
number
none.
10s aren't really a thing, are they? And James
No.
Maddison's the one you see in the Prem, but again, he doesn't have the swagger or the goal threat of a Baggio, a Dybala, or a Del Piero. I can't think of a Dybala style player in the Prem. Can you?
No.
Let us know in the chat if you've got any
Yeah, I'm trying to
suggestions.
think of someone that plays like Dybala. There's not really, is there? Maybe Ross Barkley or someone should have been. RTJ says if Fulham played Chelsea tonight, surely Fulham would win. He's trying to cause some friction here.
RTJ, one of my squad members. How could you do that to me?
He's trying to wind you up, but yeah, we would, mate. We would be. Actually, look, we're actually playing Chelsea very soon. We've got them about 2 weeks. Game week 7, is it?
Yeah,
Game week 7, yeah. Fulham on a Monday night. Monday night. I can't wait for that one. So you will not be seeing me on this show on Monday, the 2nd of October, because I'll be in a pub pre-game and then watching Fulham beat Chelsea 1-0 straight after. So
brilliant.
No, we'll see. We'll see where we are at the time. But yeah, I mean, yeah, a bit weird. There's not really a lot at the moment between Chelsea and Fulham, to be honest. But this is where we're at.
Good comments in the chat. Derek says Ozil was the last out-and-out similar Dybala player. I would say peak Ozil in early career. I'd completely agree with that. I like that. I like that comparison. But yeah, very few. I mean, the chat are often, massively on it with suggestions, but very few coming in as Dybala style players.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't exist anymore.
Like, you could say
not
Messi's
here anyway,
one of them, couldn't you? You could say Messi. If Messi wasn't around, Dybala would be the king in Argentina. He would be the first name on the team sheet. Yet he actually often doesn't start. And in the World Cup, we saw him as an impact sub because him and Messi in the same team is perhaps not the route they want to go down. Heskey, no.
But yeah, it's right. I mean, I always wanted to see Dybala in the Prem just to see how he would do, but it's just not suited to him, is it? I don't know where he would play.
Yeah, it might be too physical and intense as well. Crouch. Foden's a good shout. Like if Foden's got the skill set, we don't see him occupy the same position. Totti, Troy, absolutely. Again, like we said, Del Boy and Baggio. Totti's another one. Kinkladze. In fact, that's Totti's. Hang on. What shoulder is it? That's Totti's match-worn shirt. He's worn that.
Oh, is it?
That Roma away kit.
No way.
Yeah. It still smells of his BO, mate. It's great.
Oh, I love it. That room must smell great after all this time.
Apparently, when they do match-worns, like the websites that sell them, they often get requests to be like, and tell you it's more valuable if it's not washed. I'm like, oh, I'd actually prefer it to be washed, please.
Yeah, I saw one the other day. Someone selling a Haaland worn one, and it was on someone on Instagram, and it had mud all down the front. And I was like, it's selling. I didn't actually see the price. I was like, oh, this is going to be like hundreds, if not thousands, for like a Man City shirt with mud all over it.
Rank.
Not great.
Was it Barcelona was selling little patches of the grass of the new camp for like?
I saw that. That was quite smart.
Euros.
Kind of. I mean, for tourists, that is absolute. Especially if kids see it. I mean, that's it, isn't it? That's an easy little gift for a kid. I have to say, the grass is dead within about a day. It's just going to be brown. It's like Dylan when he went to Fulham and he got on a bit of the pitch and he pulled out some grass and it was like dead by the time he got home. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
threw it on the doorstep and we went.
Nobby said Zizou punter. Dybala's unlucky that he plays backup for Messi. Absolutely. Coutinho at Liverpool. Yeah. Pepe Signore in the Diodore boots. Yeah, love Diodoras. Dean, what was your number? Punters asked what our numbers would be. I've got loads of number 10s. My jersey number, I like at the moment a sort of classic number 3 because I'm a defender and it's just Maldini. I'm a centre back, but I still would like the 3.
Yeah. So I always wore number 9. Yeah, I was a striker, so I always wore number 9. And when I was when I was playing like quite well, like Andy Cole was just somebody I like watched I scored. I was a similar sort of striker in a way of like trying to poach goals and stuff. I just loved the way that Cole was just like, he was an animal in the box and around the box. The type of goals he scored, he was a proper 9, Andy Cole. So yeah, 9 was definitely my number.
Yeah. Love that. Janina Burra, David Silva, Pablo Aymar. All your suggestions are amazing, guys. The chat has been kicking off tonight. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, been great in chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it.
To those 20 that didn't subscribe, that voted no, I
Do it
hope we've
now.
converted him. I hope we've converted him.
Gianni will be around to bash you up.
The Rico Henry injury will update on Friday or Wednesday, but it doesn't look good. There's rumours that he might be out for a long time. So yeah, Kaka, absolutely, Laurie, bang on with the Kaka shout. Guys, we're going to be back on Wednesday with Chasing Green Arrows. Me and Big Man back. I'm not sure yet of the time, but Dean and I will also be back on Friday. So watch this space. If you've just tuned in the last 5-10 minutes, go back and watch the last hour. I guarantee you'll enjoy this one. But for now, guys, he's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've all been trying to chase green arrows.